Hello everyone, this is Pooja Sharma and welcome back to Vysh YouTube channel. So I am back with our new textbook, which is class 11 textbook number 2, Fundamentals of Physical Geography. So before we begin, this is the WhatsApp number of Vysh IAS. You can contact on this number for your UPSC test series as well as for any UPSC preparation related doubts. You can also email us and visit our YouTube channel for many videos which are ongoing at the moment, many mini series of different subjects which will help you for your UPSC preparation as well as any other government exam preparation. So this is the textbook that we are going to start off with today, chapter number 1. So before we begin, make sure that you people have finished your class 6 to class 10th geography NCERTs, and also right now I have completed class 11th India physical environment, all 7 chapters, so you can watch them as well before watching these videos. So let's begin. So geography as a discipline. So this chapter is going to be very theoretical, so you won't find many pictures. It's going to be a little bit boring, but after reading this chapter you'll have a very in-depth knowledge about how is geography connected with other subjects and what it actually is about. So geography, today we are going to learn geography as an independent subject, and we are also going to learn about the physical environment of Earth, the human activities and their interactive relationship. Then the question arises is, why should we study geography? So as we live on the surface of this earth, our lives are very much affected and influenced by the surroundings in many ways. So we depend on the resources to sustain ourselves in the surrounding areas, and in primitive societies they subsisted on natural means of substances, that is the edible plants and animals. So with the passage of time we developed these advanced technologies and started producing our own food using natural resources such as land, soil, water. Also we adjusted our food habits and clothing according to the weather conditions which are prevailing in the region, and these variations in the natural resource base, the technological development, adaptation with and modification of physical environment, and also social organism or organizations and cultural development. So as a student of geography, you should you should always have this why question in your head about all the phenomenon which occurs around us and which one will vary over space. So by this we will get to know about the diverse lands and the people, their culture, their lifestyle, and one should always be very much eager in understanding the changes which have always taken over time. So what geography does is, geography will equip us, or it will help us to appreciate the diversity and investigate and find out the causes which are responsible for creating such variations or changes over the time and space. So one more thing is, we will develop skills to understand the globe, convert it into maps and have a visual sense of the earth's surface. Now for example, suppose you are writing a mains answer and you have to draw the map of India to explain certain, suppose you want to show where the different soils are present in India. So how we make a picture in our mind of the India map, so that is how we develop skills to convert the globe or the different maps and have a visual sense of the earth's surface. So the understanding and the skills which are obtained in the modern scientific techniques such as the global international system and computer cartography, it will help us to contribute to the national endeavor for development. Also we know that the earth is our home, and it is also the home of many other creatures, whether it is big or small, which live on the earth and sustain. So the Earth's surface, it is not uniform. It has variations in its physical features and different reliefs and topography. And like there are mountains, hills, valleys, plains, plateaus, oceans, lakes, desert, and the wilderness, which is the forest and all of that. So these are the variations in its social and cultural. There are variations in social and cultural features too, and there are villages, cities, roads, railways, ports, markets, and many other elements which are man-made across the entire period of their cultural development. So this variation, it will provide us a clue or a hint to understand the relationship between the physical environment and the social and cultural features. So the physical environment, it has provided the stage on which the human societies will enact the role they play in their respective lives, and they'll use creative skills and the tools and techniques which they have invented and evolved in the process of the cultural development. So what is geography? In very simple words, it can be said that geography is the description of the earth. The term geography was first coined by the Eratosthenes, a Greek scholar. So the word has been derived from two root words from Greek language, that is geo, which means earth, and graphos means description. So when the words are put together, they mean description of the earth. And the earth, it has always been seen as the abode of human beings, and many scholars have defined geography as a description of earth as the abode of human beings. So we are well aware of the fact that reality is always having a lot of multi-faces, or many other dimensions to it, and the earth is also multi-dimensional. So that is why many disciplines from natural sciences such as geology, pedology, oceanography, botany, zoology, meteorology, and a number of the sister discipline means which are very similar to each other in social sciences such as economics, history, sociology, political science, and anthropology. They study different aspects of the earth's surface. For example, if we take the example of oceanography, it will deal about reading with all the oceans, their movement, how tides occur, and so on. So geography is different from other sciences. It is in its subject matter and methodology, but at the same time it is closely related also to other disciplines. So geography divides its database from all the natural and the social sciences and attempts their synthesis. So we know that there are variations over the surface of the earth in its physical as well as its cultural environment. So a number of phenomena which are similar, a number of phenomena are similar and many of them are not similar. So it was therefore logical to perceive that geography as a study of areal differentiation. So thus geography was perceived to study all those phenomena which vary over space, and geographers do not only study the variations in the phenomenon of the earth's surface, which is the space, but they also study the associations with other factors which cause these variations. So for example, the cropping patterns, they differ from region to region and even from soil to soil. But this variation cropping pattern as a phenomenon, it is related, as I said, to variations in soils, climates, demands in the market, then capacity of the farmer to invest, and the technological or the machines and the technological inputs which are available to him or her. So the concern of geography is to mainly find out the causal relationship between any two phenomena or between more than one phenomenon. So a geographer, it explains the phenomenon in a frame of cause and effect relationship, as it does not only help in interpretation but also foresees the phenomena in future. So this cause and effect relationship I'll make you understand. Suppose there is illiteracy and poverty. So illiteracy can be the cause of poverty, as well as poverty can also be the cause of illiteracy. So you can see how both have a cause and effect relationship. So the geographical phenomenon, both the physical and the human, they are not static and highly dynamic. That means it keeps changing. So they change over time as a result of the interactive processes between the ever changing earth and the untiring and ever active human beings. So primitive human societies, they were directly dependent on their immediate environment, whatever they found around them. And in geography, the main concern is with the study of nature and the human interaction. How human beings, they interact with the environment which is provided or created by nature as a whole, integrated as a whole. So human, it is an integral part of nature, and nature has its imprints, has the imprints of humans. So imagine this is a big circle which is the nature, and the smaller circle which is inside the bigger circle is human, and it has the imprints of human. That means the influence of humans also. So nature has influenced different aspects of human life, and its imprints can be noticed on food, clothing, shelter and occupation. So human beings, they have come with terms with nature through adaptation and modification. And as we already know that the present society, it has passed a lot of stages of primitive societies which were directly dependent on their immediate physical environment for sustenance and survival. The present societies, they have modified or brought about changes in their natural environment by inventing and then using technology, and also they have expanded the horizon of their operation by appropriating and utilizing the resources which have been provided by nature. So with the gradual development of technology, human beings were able to loosen the shackles of their physical environment. They were not very much dependent how the primitive societies were. So technology, it has helped in reducing the harshness of labor and increased labor efficiency and provided leisure to human beings to attend the higher needs of life. But the reality is it has made us more lazy. So it has also increased the scale of production and the mobility of labor. And with the help of technology, human beings move from stage of necessity to a stage of freedom. So they have put their imprints everywhere and created new possibilities in collaboration with nature, as I said earlier. And thus we find humanized nature and naturalized human beings. And the geography studies this interactive relationship. So this sentence is very nice. You can take a note of this and use it when you're writing your answers in the mains. So the space, it got organized with the help of the means of transportation, then communication network through rail, air, road. So the links, which is the routes and the nodes, settlements of all types and hierarchies, they integrated the space and gradually it got organized. So as a social science discipline, geography studies the spatial organization and spatial integration. And geography as a discipline, it is concerned with three sets of questions. One is, some of the questions are related to the identification of patterns of natural and cultural features as found over the surface of the earth. So these are the questions about what. Then some questions are related to the distribution of the natural and the human cultural features over the surface of the earth, that is the resources. So these are the questions about where. First one is what, second one is where, and taken together both these questions, they take care of the distributional and locational aspects of nature and cultural features. So distribution of the resources plus where they are located on the earth. So these questions, they have provided inventorized information of what features and where it is located. So it was very popular approach during the colonial period, and these two questions did not make geography a scientific discipline till the third question was added. So earlier geography was not considered as a scientific discipline. In fact, it was considered as social science discipline. So the third question is related to the explanation or the causal relationship between the features and the processes and phenomenon, that is like earthquakes, then the shaking of the earth, then the temperature rising and then decreasing, the pressure, all of this. So this aspect of geography is related to the question why. Why does this happen? Why do cyclones take place? Why do earthquakes take place? So why does it rain? So geography as a discipline, it is related to the space and it takes notes of the spatial characteristics and attributes. So it also studies the patterns of distribution, location and concentration of the phenomenon over that space, and it also interprets them by providing explanation for these patterns. So as we saw in the previous video, let's take the example of earthquakes. So we saw that in one region, like suppose India, where it is distributed, that means where does it occur, and where distribution and occurrence, and where does it occur, location, and the concentration of the phenomenon, like how much high it is or how much low it is over the space, and also interprets them, providing explanation that why these earthquakes occur. It provides us explanation also, right, that why earthquakes took place, what was the reason, was it natural or man-made, so like that. So it takes note of the associations and the interrelationships between the phenomenon over space, that means region, and it interprets them by providing explanation to these patterns. So both these points are almost same. And it also takes note of all the association and the interrelationships between the phenomenon, which is resulting from the dynamic or ever-changing interactions between human beings and their physical environment. So geography as an integrating discipline. So geography is a discipline of synthesis, and it attempts spatial synthesis, and history attempts temporal synthesis. So its approach is holistic in nature, and it recognizes the fact that the world is a system of interdependency. So the present world, it has been perceived as a global village, and the distances have been reduced by better means of transportation with increasing accessibility and also the communication. The audiovisual media and the information technology, they have enriched the database. Also our AI, artificial intelligence. So technology has provided better chances of monitoring the natural phenomenon, like how we can detect the earthquake through reading the seismic waves, and also as well as the economic and social parameters. So geography as an integrating discipline, it has interface with numerous natural and social sciences. So all the sciences, whether they are natural or social, they have one basic objective of understanding the reality. So geography attempts to comprehend the associations of phenomenon which is related in sections of reality. Every discipline concerned with scientific knowledge, it is linked with geography, as many of their elements vary over space. So geography, it helps in understanding the reality in totality and its spatial perspective, and also geography not only takes note of the differences in the phenomena from place to place, but it will integrate them holistically, which means which may be different at other places. So a geographer is required to have a broad understanding of all the related fields to be able to logically integrate them. So this interaction can be understood with some examples. So geography influences historical events. Spatial distance itself has been a very potent factor to alter the course of history of the world. So spatial depth provided defense to many countries, particularly in the last century. And in traditional warfare, what used to happen is countries with large size in area gain time at the cost of space, because the space is more, they gain time. So the defense provided by the oceanic expanse around the countries of New World, it has protected them from wars being imposed on their soil. So if we look at the historical events world over, each of them can be interpreted geographically. So they are these certain geographical relief or features, like suppose high mountains. Even when we take the example of high mountains, it is very difficult to cross certain high mountains. So that can also, in many ways prevent wars, and it can deter the enemy from getting into the region or a particular country. So in India, Himalayas have acted as great barriers and provided protection, but the passes provided routes to the migrants and invaders from the Central Asia. So the sea coast, it has encouraged contact with people from the East and Southeast Asia, Europe and Africa. The interaction. And here also, because of these passes, the roads have led the many migrants and invaders from Central Asia to enter India. So navigation technology, it has helped European countries to colonize a number of countries of Asia and Africa, including India, as they got accessibility through oceans. Then we have physical geography and natural sciences. So all the branches of physical geography have interface with natural sciences. So the traditional physical geography, it is linked with geology, meteorology, hydrology and pedology, as we read earlier, and concepts like geomorphology, then climatology, oceanography and soil geography, they respectively have a very close link with the natural sciences, as these derive their data from these sciences, like how cyclones occur, then here climatic changes, then when monsoon, how monsoon season is predicted, so all of that. And then biogeography is closely related to botany, zoology as well as ecology, as human beings are located in different locational niche. So we have seen that how much similarities geography and environment has, because many of the concepts are very similar. So that is how it is interconnected. So a geographer should have some proficiency in mathematics and art, particularly in drawing maps. Why in mathematics? Because of the latitudes and longitudes. It is very important that the calculation be correct, and art also for drawing. So geography is very much linked with the study of astronomical locations and deals with latitudes and longitudes. So the shape of the earth, it is geoid, but the basic tool of a geographer is a map, which is a two-dimensional representation of the earth. Now see, the problem is we can't carry a globe everywhere. It won't fit also in our pocket. So the best thing to carry is a map, which is a piece of paper which we can keep anywhere. We can fold it and keep it into our pockets also, so it won't take much of our space. So the problem of converting geoids into two dimensions can be tackled by projections which are constructed graphically or mathematically. So mathematically here is, if you guys remember in school, they used to make us, we had this chapter of map reading where we had to find the latitudes and the distance of a particular location. So that is how we used to find out the location of maps or regions without drawing them. So the cartographic and quantitative techniques require sufficient proficiency in mathematics, statistics and econometrics. So maps are prepared through artistic imagination, and making sketches, mental maps, cartographic work, they require proficiency in arts, geography and social sciences. So each social science, it has an interface with one branch of geography. The relationships between geography and history have already been outlined in detail, how they are connected. So every discipline, it has a philosophy. So philosophy provides roots to a discipline, and in the process of its evolution, it also experiences distinct historical processes. So the history of geographical thought as mother branch of geography is included universally in its curriculum. So all the social science disciplines like political science, economics, demography, sociology. They study different aspects of social reality. The branches of geography like social, political, economic, population, physical, and settlements are closely linked with these disciplines as each of them have spatial attributes. The core concern of political science is territory, people, the sovereignty, while political geography is also interested in the area of the state as its spatial unit as well as people and their political behavior. And economics, it deals with the basic attributes of the economy such as production, distribution, exchange, consumption. Each of these attributes, it also has the spatial aspects, and here comes the role of economic geography, which studies the spatial aspects of production, distribution, exchange, and consumption. So like that only, population geography, it is closely linked with the discipline of demography. So the above discussion which we have done now, it shows us that geography has a strong interface with both natural and social sciences, and it follows its own methodology of study which makes it different from others. It has a osmotic relationship with other disciplines, that is, in one or the other way it is related to each and every other disciplines. So while all the disciplines have their own individual scope, this individuality does not obstruct the flow of information, as in the case of the cells in the body that have individual identity, which are separated by membranes, but the flow of blood is not obstructed just because they are different. So this is just an example to make us understand. And geographers, they use data which is obtained by these sister disciplines and attempt the synthesis over space maps. Over space, full stop. Maps are very effective tools of geographers in which the tabular data, it is converted into visual form to bring about the spatial pattern, to show us how the region is, how the boundaries are, and the shapes and sizes. So this is the field of geography, as you can see here: historical geography, soil geography, botany, then geomorphology, economic geography, environmental geography, then cultural geography, then population geography. So branches of geography. So geography is an interdisciplinary subject of study, and the study of every subject is done according to some or the other approach. So the major approaches to study geography have been both systematic and regional. So the systematic geography approach, it is same as that of the general geography, and this approach was introduced by Alexander von Humboldt, a German geographer, while regional geography approach was developed by another German geographer and a contemporary of Humboldt, who is Karl Ritter. So in systematic approach, a phenomenon is studied world over as a whole, and then the identification of the different types or the spatial pattern is done. So this is done on a global basis or on a macro level. So for example, if one is interested in studying natural vegetation, the study will be done at the world level as a first step. So this typology, such as equatorial rainforest or softwood conical forest or the monsoon forest, will be identified, discussed, and then delimited. So in regional approach, what happens is the world will be divided into regions. So we can tell that the systematic approach is a broader approach, and in regional approach it is narrower. It's studying the micro levels. So the world is divided into regions at different hierarchies, and then all the geographical phenomena in a particular region is studied. So these regions may be natural, political, or designated regions, and the phenomena in a region are studied in a holistic manner, searching for unity in diversity, how it is linked and related in that region. So dualism is one of the main characters of geography, which got introduced from the very beginning, and this dualism, it is dependent on the aspects which are focused on in the studies. So earlier scholars, they laid emphasis on physical geography, But human beings are an integral part of the earth's surface, hence we cannot ignore them. So they are part and parcel of nature. So they have also contributed through their cultural development, and thus developed human geography with emphasis on human activities. So we can see how the focus shifted from only environment geography or the physical geography to even other branches like human geography, physical geography, economic and social geography, like that. So branches of geography which are based on systematic approach, that is physical geography. So geomorphology, it is devoted to the study of landforms, their evolution and related processes. And climatology, it encompasses the study of structure of the atmosphere and the elements of weather, climates, climate types and regions. Hydrology, it studies the realm of water over the surface of earth, including oceans, rivers, lakes and other water bodies, and its effects on different life forms including human life and their activities. So soil geography deals with the study and the process of soil formation, their types, their fertility status, distribution and use. Next we have human geography. So social and cultural geography, it encompasses the study of society and its spatial dynamics as well as the cultural elements contributed by the society. So population and settlement geography, both rural and urban, it studies population growth, distribution, density, the sex ratio, migration, occupational structure. Then settlement geography, it studies the characteristics of rural and urban settlements. So economic geography deals with the economic activities of the people including agriculture, industry, tourism, trade, transport, infrastructure and service. So you can see how one subject has so many different ways of learning it. Then we have historical geography, which studies the historical processes which took place through the space and which got organized. So every region has undergone some historical experiences before attaining the present day status. Like for our India itself, we had been under the colonial rule for 200 years, and today we are this world's biggest democracy and a very independent and developing country. So the geographical features, they also experience temporal changes, and these form the concerns of historical geography. Political geography, it looks at the angle of political events, studies boundaries, space relations between neighboring political units, then the delimitations of the constituencies, election scenarios, people's voting patterns, then develops theoretical framework to understand the political behavior of the population. So this is the branches of geography which are based on systematic approach, as you can see. So then we have biogeography. So the interface between physical geography and the human geography, it has led to the development of biogeography, which includes the plant geography, which studies the spatial patterns of the natural vegetations and their habitats. Then we have zoo geography, which studies the spatial patterns and the geographical characteristics of the animals and their habitats, their homes. And then we have ecology or the ecosystem, which deals with the scientific study of the habitats and the characteristics of the species. So you can see that here all three are connected together. We have plants, then we have the animals, then we have the ecosystem which is created by these two. And then this in turn, the plant, animals and their ecosystem creates the environment. So then we have the environmental geography. So this concerns world over, leading to the realization of all the environmental problems that are going on, such as land gradation, pollution, concerns for the conservation, which has resulted in the introduction of this branch in geography. Then we have branches of geography which are based on regional approach, that is regional studies or area studies comprising of the macro, micro regional studies. Then we have regional planning, which is comprising of the city, country, then rural and town or urban planning. Then we have regional development and regional analysis. So there are two aspects which are important, which are common to every discipline. These are the philosophy and the geographical thought, and also land and human interaction or human ecology, and then methods and techniques like cartography, which is including computer cartography, and then quantitative techniques and statistical techniques. So field survey methods, where different field surveys are conducted, and then the geoinformatics comprising techniques such as remote sensing, GSI, GPS. The above classification, it gives us a comprehensive format of the branches of geography. So generally geography is taught and learnt in this format, but this format is not static. It keeps changing. So any discipline, it is bound to grow new ideas, because each day something or the other happens and it gets included, and then new problems arise, new methods have been discovered, and techniques as well. So for example, what was once a manual cartography has now been transferred into a computer cartography. So we can see how from the transformation from manual to digital. So technology has also enabled scholars to handle large quantum of data, and the internet provides us this extensive information. So thus the capacity to attempt the analysis has increased tremendously. So GSI has further opened many vistas of knowledge, and the GP has become a very handy tool to find out exact locations. And nowadays people are always using this GPS, or the cabs, and then the autos, and then wherever we want to go, we just have to just enter the location, and we reach our destination with proper instructions and all of that. So the technologies have enhanced the capacity of attempting the synthesis with the sound theoretical understanding. So both in the way of theory also and practical way also, it has done justice to the subject. So these are the branches of regional approach, which you can see: macro, meso, micro, and then what we studied in the slide, same as that. So this chapter, as we all know, it appears in this specific book itself, which is the Fundamentals of Physical Geography, because in order to understand what is physical geography, first we have to know that what is geography and why we have this specific concept under it, which is the physical geography. So physical geography is very important because this forms the basis of our geography, the evolution of landforms and all of that. Because if there were no landforms or nothing was present, then there wouldn't have been any geography subject also. So the contents of this book, it will clearly reflect its scope, and therefore it is appropriate to know the importance of the branches of geography or the branch of geography. So physical geography, it includes the study of lithosphere, landforms, drainage, relief, physiography. And then atmosphere deals with its composition, structure, the elements, and controls the weather and the climate. And temperature, pressure, winds, precipitation, climatic types. So then we have hydrosphere, which deals with oceans, seas, lakes, and associated features with water, realm, and all types of water bodies. So you can see how this one small concept has so many subtopics under it, which are very, very important. And then finally we have the biosphere, where all the life form will exist, including human beings and the macroorganisms, as well as their sustaining mechanism. I mean the food chain, ecological parameters, and the ecological balance. So soils are formed through the processes of the pedogenesis and depend upon the parent rocks, the climate, biological activity, and time. So time provides maturity to soils, and it helps in the development of soil profiles. So each element is important for human beings, And landforms, they provide the base on which human activities are located. So the plains are utilized for agriculture, plateaus provide forest and minerals. So the reason why we are able to relate with all these topics is because we have learnt a little bit about them in our previous textbook. Then we have mountains which provide pastures, forests, tourist spots, and also they are the sources of rivers providing water to lowlands. And also climate influences our house types, clothing and food habits. We have read all this in the previous videos. So the climate has profound effect on the vegetation, cropping pattern, lifestyle farming, livestock farming and some industries. So human beings have developed technologies which modify the climatic elements in restricted space, such as air conditioners and coolers. So temperature and precipitation, they ensure the density of forest and quality of grassland. And in India, monsoonal rainfall, it sets the temperature rhythm in motion. So precipitation, it recharges the groundwater aquifers, which later provides water for agricultural and domestic use. So we can study oceans, which are the storehouse of resources, and besides fish and other seafood, oceans are also rich in mineral resources. India, it has developed the technology for collecting manganese nodules from the oceanic bed, and also soils are renewable resources which influence a number of economic activities such as agriculture, and the fertility of the soil is both naturally determined as well as culturally induced. So soils also provide the basis for the biosphere, accommodating plants, animals, microorganisms. So as I told you that soil is everything. Life begins in the soil, it ends also in the soil. So the study of physical geography, it is an emerging and very I wouldn't tell famous, but it is very important in the recent times. And also evaluating and managing natural resources, it helps in that also. In order to achieve this objective, it is essential to understand the intricate relationship between the physical environment and the human beings. So the physical environment, it provides resources, and human beings utilize these resources and ensure that their economic and cultural development takes place. Also, accelerated pace of resource utilization with the help of modern technology, it has created a lot of ecological imbalance in the world, as we read earlier. So hence, a better understanding of physical environment is very essential for sustainable development. So the sustainable development is a very important word from the point of prelims and mains as well. Make sure that you read about the sustainable development goals. I think 17 are there. So we then conclude this chapter with two definitions for geography by Richard Hartstone. So what is geography? Geography is concerned with the description and explanation of the aerial differentiation of the Earth's surface, and geography studies the differences of phenomenon usually related to different parts of the Earth's surface. This is by Hetner. So you can use these two definitions in your answer writing for mains. So I think we are done with the chapter. Okay, so I hope this video was informative to you. The chapter looks very boring, but once you read it, you'll feel that it's pretty much easy, and you'll finish it very soon. So I'll be back with chapter 2. Make sure that you read your geography NCERTs or watch them on Vysh's YouTube channel, class 6th to class 10th. Class 11th India Physical Environment Geography NCERT is also available, all 7 chapters. Make sure that you watch all those videos so that it will help you for your UPSC preparation for prelims as well as mains. And if you want to enroll for our UPSC test series, or if you have any UPSC related doubts, you can contact on this number on WhatsApp. So till then, all the best, and I'll be back soon with chapter 2. Thank you.